And by the way, according to the statistics, about 200,000 barrels per day are lost as a result of these illegal pipelines. So when the companies pump, when they, after drilling the oil and they're trying to distribute it, these the crude oil falls into all of these pipelines. And that's why we always have a shortage. And that's what I want to talk about. Because when we look at Nigeria, we're talking our economy and we're saying, oh, we don't have enough money, we're not generating enough revenue. Yes, sometimes it's all politics. But then again, these things are also the factor. He also made reference to the refineries and, their viability. And he said the refineries will work and he cannot say whether it will crash the price or not. But however, it will have an impact on the economy of the country. So for some reason, there is the network issue and I can't seem to reconnect. I can't seem to get my guest. Oh my goodness. So you just give me a minute or two while I try to reconnect. My guest is Fortune Obi, an engineer, former PRO Pengassan. And he will help us understand all of these talks that they are talking. Remember, oil is the mainstay when we talk revenue in Nigeria. Oil is the main revenue of Nigeria. Whether we're exporting it, whether we're refining it, whatever it is that we're doing with oil, it is the main. Oh my. For some reason, I can't seem to get connection. So you know what happened? You and I will continue the conversation. We'll continue the convo when I'm able to get to my guest. Technology sometimes can be, troubling and troublesome and all cumbersome. Use all the adjectives you can to describe the situation. However, you and I will still talk, and we still will talk for development. So, what do you make of this? So it means that the boys who are illegally refining crude oil in the creeks, in the various forests, they are even at the lowest chain of the illegality. Because for somebody to construct a pipeline, that's some massive project. That's some expensive project, I should say. Are we really ready as a country? And you see why this conversation is really necessary for you and I, according to my thinking. We are in the Niger-Delta. We are in River State. We are one of the major oil producers. We are one of the major contributors to the national revenue. Yes, at the end of every month, we get part of the 13% derivation fund, right? However, we need to be very conscious. We need to be very, what's the word now? We need to be very focused on how oil is spent and how oil, is produced as well. Because like Serap is saying, NNPCL should tell us how much oil we produce every day and what we are selling so we can know. Because very soon, crude oil will not be in demand as it is in demand now. And that's why we need to talk about it. So I'm going to quickly open the phone lines, 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Let's get your thoughts, from the layman angle until my guest is able to reconnect with me. And when I'm able to reconnect with my guest, I get your thoughts, right? So let's get your thoughts. Do we see why the Air Force, goes into, would go into the creek and want to bomb these boys so that they can reduce the, what do I know? But I've got Ezekiel, I guess, calling from Ubumini, and I like to talk to him once he calls because MOI is one of the places ravaged with illegal refineries, I should say. Ezekiel, welcome.
Are you talking about illegal pipeline or illegal refinery?
Illegal pipelines will also get you to illegal refineries, but I'm talking about illegal pipelines.
My dear brother, I want to let you know that, in my own opinion, I don't think that there is what we call illegal pipeline in this country.
All right.
If there is, it should be the people at the hierarchy. Because as far as I know, that the Federal Republic of Nigeria considers any illegal production of crude in this our country, it is a kind of let me say is unconstitutional for one to produce without the concept of the federal government. Therefore, the heavyweight, the cabals are involved in this if we have what we call illegal pipeline. Because this thing is not what is being done or being laid under somebody's stomach. It goes through community to community, and to the point they call it illegal. So if you ask me, we don't have anything called illegal refinery. What we have is illegal pipeline. What we have is illegal refinery, the one we call fire. Because those fire spots comes from the pipeline, the original pipeline. So how come these fire people are being into the business? This is what we should ask of. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much for your
Ugumi.
take. I've got a makeup from Rumukuta. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Kalada.
You're welcome.
Sometimes these people in public office just talk as if Nigeria. How will someone say we have 4,000 plus illegal pipelines connected to the original pipeline? You know what technology takes to get the pipeline and connect it to another pipeline. The drilling, the excavation, the welding of pipes, and the connection of pipes. And they talk about billions they pay for surveillance. No, now they know what they are doing. Everything.
Don't you think it's the surveillance that has enabled them to uncover these many illegal pipelines?
Okay, what have they done? Did he mention that those illegal pipelines have been cut off? Did he mention that? Well, they should not be saying all these things. I beg, we are not good in this country. They are just saying anything to favor them because they say people believe they hook, line, and sinker.
All right then. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've got Victor from Rumokrusi. Victor, welcome on the show. What is on your mind?
Okay, Canada. Good evening. Good afternoon.
All of the above.
Jonathan make a very statement during, I think, 2011, during his media. He said, bunkry or bonfire or whatever you want, illegal connection or whatever you want to. He said it's not a poor man business. It's never. How much? Did you know how much they sell pipe? Do you know how much you can need to do that drum? What did you call it? Drum, whatever that they used to build. Do that. Do you know how much it costs? This thing is a job of about the people. I see. My finger is on the politicians. Most of them are involved in this business. So somebody should not come out and start telling us that they are doing illegal pipeline connection. So how did you do it? Did you do it in the night? Even if you do it in the night, how did you? I don't know. I can't understand. I don't know how to comprehend. These people know what they are doing. Thank you.
Victor, thank you very much. Apparently, I'm not able to get across to my guest because the network provider has switched off, because I am also using the same network, and for whatever reason, I don't even have network service myself. My goodness, it's terrible. So I do not know how to reach my guest. All right, so I guess I will have to do the talking myself. It's my goodness, a silly situation. Welcome to Nigeria. I should say. But let's go to the reports as seen, reported by some of the news platforms. So this one says Nigeria NMPCL uncovers 4,000 or over. Let's emphasize on that. Over 4,800 illegal connections on oil pipelines in Nigeria. And it says the latest development came about 1 year after the firm discovered 295 illegal connections to its pipeline, a development that further amplified the massive crude oil theft in Nigeria. I know every time you say, oh, we want Nigeria to be great. Yesterday, one of the news headlines talked about the president asking us to pray for the hailing economy. He said Nigeria needs your prayers. He said you should pray that the economy gets better. But when we have people who are very intentional, sabotaging the growth of the country, when we have intentional sabotage, I wonder if God will answer the prayers, because while faith is needed, action is also needed. The report goes ahead to say that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it discovered over 4,800 illegal connections on oil pipelines in the country in what is a grim picture of the country's major income earner. Now, we have over 4,800 illegal connections on our pipeline. That means in some lines, within 100 kilometers of pipelines, you have as much as 300 insertions. Now, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Mele Kyari, told the Senate Committee on Appropriations on Friday. He said, therefore, even when you produce the oil, you cannot deliver them at the required pressure, and therefore the volume will also be less. Now, according to the NNPCL boss, people troop in from other parts of the country to insert illegal connections on the pipelines in the oil-producing Niger-Delta region of Nigeria. Now, the latest development came about 1 year after the firm discovered 295 illegal connections to its pipeline. 2 years ago, Kyari said the country was losing 200,000 barrels of oil valued at $13 million daily. And yet we have a revenue issue. I mean, I understand that we have a spending issue. But my goodness. I'll be right back after the commercial break. To stay tuned.
The show continues after this break on Nigeria Info. Okay.
And yes, we're talking about 4,800 illegal connections to our national pipelines, our national assets, our main revenue for the country. And I should start by apologizing once again. I am really sorry. Nine Mobile has made it difficult for you and I to have the kind of conversation I structured for us to have. There is no network, so I cannot reach my guest via the phone. I cannot reach him via the, internet calls as well. And I also, on my personal mobile, don't have a network, so I can also, get an alternative number just in case he wants to reach me to tell me about his alternative number. So it is a crazy situation for me. Just maybe we will revisit this conversation in the course of the week, just maybe. But for now, you and I will have to find a way to have a conversation on this issue. And the conversation is very, yet again, pertinent because we are in the Niger-Delta. We are, whether you're listening from Imo State, Akwa Ibom State, Rivers State, Bayelsa State, and even in the outskirts of Delta State, oil is gotten from these various states and many more in the Niger-Delta, like I've mentioned. And the truth is, we deserve to know. And like my other guest did say, you see, we need to be competing with states like Dubai, with states like Abu Dhabi. We need to be competing because these are also oil states where, they get to generate revenue for their country. And look at how beautiful they look. And they've now become a tourist site generating tourism revenue as well. But when we look at the level of development in the Niger-Delta, it does not in any way, it does not signify the amount that we contribute to the national development. And that's why this conversation is very pertinent and very needed and is very necessary. So what are these people who have built illegal pipelines? Who are these people who have built illegal connections to our national pipeline? If you know that people are coming from all parts of the country to come to the Niger-Delta to build these illegal structures, why have we not cut them? And like someone asked, I thought we pay so much, huge amounts for the security of, our national assets. Why are they not secure? And then could this also be the reason why we've seen our oil multinationals leave the country or divest and go offshore? Or is it onshore they call it now? That can be confusing sometimes. But you get the point. Is this the reason why they're leaving, divesting? Because of all of these mago, like we call it in our parlance? All of these wayo, like we call it in our parlance? I'd like to get your thoughts. The phone lines are open. I pray that Nine Mobile, if they can hear me, will give us good network so that we can get to our guest who's and he was on the phone just now, not too long ago, and the network just cut us off. 0817. I'm so sad about it. Really, I'm really sad. 0817 923 0002 and 0817 923-0003. I've got calls coming in. I like to get your thoughts. I think network might just be better, but let's take Victor's call. And Victor is calling me from where? I guess from mile 3. All right, let's take a listen. Victor, welcome.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Sorry, good evening.
All of the above. Welcome.
All right. Canada, I'm not going to say something different from what others have been saying. I'm only going to amplify it.
Okay.
And, let those who have the relevant, where we have to answer the question.
Okay.
These pipes are not made in their stomach, Canada. Why is it that we live in a country where nobody is answerable to anything? And all of us will be busy running like headless chicken looking for survivor, and as if our problem does not have solution. These things are basic mathematics now. For every time an attachment is made to a pipeline, it is traceable to somewhere. Canada, isn't it?
It is, of course. It is. Yeah, of course. I mean, it must have, where it's connected to.
Good. So if these attachments are traceable to somewhere, why are they not tracing it? By the time you go to the place, the end point where the attachments are actually, centered, you will find out who the owner is. You would know who is actually perpetuating this evil. Apart from that, before these pipelines are laid, they are not laid in 1 hour. It's not a spiritual activity. Sometimes it takes the whole of weeks and months to lay these pipes. And we keep asking ourselves who is doing these things when we know them. We know these people. They should stop disturbing the poor masses. We know them. Oh, I'm tired of this country.
Hello? Hello? Am I on with Nigeria Info?
Yes.
Yes, you are on with Nigeria Info.
Thank you very much, Kalada, for allowing me line now.
Okay.
I am Henry Enyoko. I'm calling from Isielangwa North in Abia State.
All right, let's get your thoughts
My
quickly.
brother, what you are talking about is something some of us know. I have lived in Port Harcourt for years. I know what oil pipeline means. To lay pipe on oil pipeline, the soil will be open along the line. Welders will come weld. There will be, in short, before you do welding work, you do excavation, welding work, close up through various communities. My brother, for somebody to at this stage that 4,800 oil pipelines are constructed through various communities. My brother Canada, this lie is qualified to enter the Guinness Book of World Record as the greatest lie of all time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry from Abia State. Let's take a list. My guest is on the phone, by the way. I think I made a
you have over 4,800 illegal connections on our pipeline. That means in some lines, within 100 kilometers of pipeline, Mr. Chairman, you will have as much as 300 insertions.
All right. Fortune Obi, welcome, Engineer Fortune Obi, former PRO Pengassan. It's good to have you back on the phone. You scared me for a bit. You scared me. Welcome on the show.
Yeah, good evening, Canada, and good listeners to Nigerian Info.
All right.
I think I listened to the last caller. The reality is that a lot of Nigerians are still unaware of the enormity of the illegal connections in the network of the Nigerian pipeline as it stands today. The international oil companies and the local oil companies are suffering huge losses to illegal connections in the pipeline network, covering over 5,000 kilometers. And that is the reality.
All right.
Unfortunately, this news has been so maybe not visible to the public, but the reality is that the oil companies can tell you that they don't push up to 1,000 barrels to wherever they are talking about today.
Sorry. So you're saying once they pump into the pipelines, if they are pumping 1 million barrels, it doesn't get, maybe like 100,000 barrels.
So if, for instance, an oil company pushes 1,000 barrels of crude oil from their flow station to their terminal, the reality is that quantity cannot get to the terminal as it stands today. And that is one of the major challenges the oil companies are having today. And that is also maybe why the business is no longer
lucrative. Yeah.
It is no longer profitable.
Yeah.
Because whatever you produce cannot get to the pipeline of the terminal. So it calls for conscious effort for Nigerian people, all of us, to be involved in restricting the illegal connection. Because it costs a lot of money to fix any of those illegal connections that are on the network.
Now, let's stay with the illegal connections, these illegal pipelines. Can you hear me, Engineer Fortune?
I can hear you.
All right, so now we have 4,800 of them. Do you think they are insiders who help these guys connect? Because my understanding, if a pipeline,
let me put it.
I'm sorry. Let me ask the question. If a pipeline is functional, you can't just bust it open. It's going to explode. So how do they make these connections?
All right. Let me put it this way. The Niger-Delta and Nigerians, all as it stands today, have developed the skills in managing weddings on lifelines, and then those are called cold tapping. There is the technology where people tap on flowing lines, and that is called cold tapping.
Okay.
They stop these lines or these illegal connections while the lines are live. Is this technology that is low? People have applied this technology over time, working for these oil companies. We have Nigerians who are professional welders, of course, and some of them over time have also lost their job. So when the perpetrators of this act get them involved in the business, pay them hugely, they do the cost nothing for them. So you can't stop it. The only way to stop it is for the government agencies to be responsible, prosecute those who commit these crimes. And not as because for now is being prosecuted. We cannot continue in this way. There is no country that can survive with this kind of illegality happening in our pipelines today. We must all stand up to push against illegal pipelines and connections around our pipeline network.
Okay.
But again, it must be a responsible government. Our government must be responsible. They must get the communities involved in all their businesses. You cannot be producing oil in a community and you don't get the community people in the business.
Okay.
You bring in somebody from the north, for instance, to come and manage pipeline surveillance in a community where their people are unemployed. So you need to bring down the involvement of the local people in the business of managing the pipeline network and integrity surveillance.
But we have the local people who are securing. I mean, we've got Tantita, for instance.
Yes, that is a new surveillance here at the bottom by engaging some of these. And then again, it is not yet, it has not default to the local community. You can bring on that money back. You have to be. You can come from somebody to come to so it drops the local people in the first line surveillance. That will work. When you get them involved and any pipeline is stopped, you prosecute them and then imprison those that are committed that crime.
Now, Engineer Obi, these pipelines that are tapped or connections that are tapped into our legal pipelines, our main pipelines, they are going somewhere. Why can't we trace them? Why can't we trace the people? And like one of the last callers said, welding or, constructing a pipeline, it's an expensive business. Moving it through communities, moving it from point A to point B, it is an expensive business. So why can't we trace where the pipelines are going or the connections are going? 4,800 of them.
They identify, I think you are getting the message wrong anyway. These illegal pipelines are being discovered on a daily basis. Again, remember that the terrain, the Niger-Delta terrain, is a very complicated terrain. That sometimes the security operators do not have the facility to manage these surveillance operations. So what it means is that you need to empower them enough such that they might employ technology, the use of drones in carrying out the surveillance. And this also costs money. Not that these illegal connections are not identified. They are identified. But like I say, you need to get the locals involved. Because it is only the locals that will tell you that our backyard there is an illegal service.
Okay.
If you don't get them involved, but how would they risk their life to secure your pipeline?
But are you sure the locals will want to blow the whistle because they're gaining? If it passes through,
when you make them stakeholders, that is why we're saying like the host community content of the Petroleum Industry Act also gives us that leverage to involve the local advocacy.
Okay.
By the time we activate the host community act effectively, They will be involved in the business, and they become sole partners of the business.
Okay.
They will be the ones to checkmate the activities of illegal perpetrators around their environment. So the government must be responsible by engaging people accurately, not to stay in Abuja and begin to award contracts to people who don't even know the terrain where they're going to monitor.
So do you think that we will be able to reduce the amount of illegal connections to our pipelines? Do you see that in the foreseeable future?
It's very possible. Like I said, when the government is responsible, it is very possible to happen.
All right.
It is workable.
All right. Now let's come to the refineries. There is the argument that the refineries, if it comes on board, it will reduce the cost of the cost of petrol in Nigeria, especially the Dangote's refinery. What are your thoughts on that?
I see doubt if the coming on stream of Dangote refinery will drop the price of petroleum products.
Yeah, tell me why.
One is that you must understand that the petroleum product is a dollarized
commodity
instrument.
The
petroleum product is dollarized. You don't buy the crude oil in naira. Again, the government can actually, by still subsidizing the price for Dangote refinery, so that the local product can be sold at a reduced price.
Okay.
Not that it will affect. As a businessman, the man will always look away where you will make foreign income than naira.
I see. So if NMPCL, because they have also mentioned what you've mentioned, if they give a subsidized rate of crude oil to Dangote's refinery, will that be subsidy in any way, in any form?
Okay, so one thing we are losing track of is that we think subsidy is a wrong thing.
No, of course we... okay, go ahead.
Subsidy globally is a global phenomenon.
Okay.
It's like in places where wheat is scarce, the government subsidizes in agro products. The government subsidizes in energy. So there is no way subsidizing petroleum products is a crime. But the only way is to manage the subsidy. If you subsidize it for the masses, that is the only element they can benefit from the government.
All right.
Energy is expensive. And you know the cost of what you have power today. So for any company or small-scale industry to thrive, you must subsidize energy for them to thrive. Because nobody can run his factory with the cost of diesel you have today in the market. Now is this going to make the profit from? So the government must also be conscious in ensuring that there is a little subsidy in the product. If the moment NNPC subsidizes the cost of crude oil to Dangote refiners, what it means is that Dangote will also take that gesture by reducing the cost of refined products in the same country.
All right. Okay.
But again, remember that Dangote is a businessman.
Of course.
He will be going for where profit lies.
Of course. Thank you. So I've been speaking with Engineer Fortune Obi, who's the former PRO Pengassan. Pengassan is short for Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. And yes, we've been speaking about the statement by the GCEO of NMPCL that 4,800 illegal connections are there in the Niger-Delta. But let's take some messages and let's see what your contributions are like, because time is fast spent before I take the final words of my guest. Network didn't let us talk extensively. But this one is from Charlie Man Obianozie, I beg your pardon. He said, I greet Kalada and I greet your guest. I think the number of illegal pipelines in the Niger-Delta is alarming. Almost all the servicemen, top politicians and village chiefs and even top quarters have illegal oil pipelines. The fight against illegal pipelines will continue until government does the needful, which is arresting all of these people. Okay, let's see. This one says, Kalada, we also observed oil pipelines that had holes pre-drilled on them at the time the pipes were buried by PPMC. The drilled holes are plugged at the time the pipes are buried. The tampered points give access to those who compromise the pipelines when operational. Eric Chooks. This one says, so the country is a pity. Can a poor man believe this trash? Tales, or you say text by moonlight stories. Engineer Obi, we are almost at the end of our conversation. How do you really think? Because, I mean, some people say the police officers, army officers, naval officers are also complicit. Some people say the village chiefs, the communities are also complicit. I mean, we can see greed reaching all over this. How can we tackle this menace and ensure that there's enough revenue for the country?
Okay, like I always say, no country survives with crime. When crimes are not punished, people will continue to get involved.
Okay.
Until when those who perpetrate these acts are being consequence managed, they are punished for committing such crimes. Others will not stop. If you leave it open, people will continue to try to live because there is an already made market. The product, if it gets to the market, they will sell it. Until you make it unattractive, as of today, the product is attractive in the market.
All right.
So they will continue to get involved. But when you maybe get hold of those who commit this crime, punish them, others will not go into it.
All right.
That's just it.
All right, then. Thank you very much. We're out of time, but thank you very much. I'm really sorry the network didn't let us talk extensively.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Commercial break coming up. I've got many more messages, like the one from Emmanuel, who's texting from Port Harcourt. It says, I want to ask, they said over 4,000 odds tapping in place in the Niger-Delta region. How many mining points have they discovered in Zamfara State and other northern state? The pipeline from Port Harcourt refinery, local government and major administration was the purpose of the pipeline. I've got to go. I read it when I'm back.
Nigeria Info will be right back.